Good morning, everybody, and welcome. I am Lisa, and this is Living Life with Lisa, and I am on my way to guess where? Yes, you're right, rehab, because that seems to be the path my car knows where to go to every day. So, hopefully no surprises today. So anyway, it's a rainy, dreary day, and I'm starting to think, because when I woke up this morning to wake up the boys, I was in such a deep sleep that I couldn't hardly figure out where I was at or what I was doing, and that doesn't have anything to do with the dementia. It's that's how deep I was sleeping. I've noticed in these videos it sounds sometimes like I'm going off-road or sounds like maybe I'm going through the cornfields, but I'm not. Those really are roads. There is one video where I was on dirt roads because we still have, well, I shouldn't say still have, they were paved, and then the county in their infinite wisdom, in order to save money, turned them back into dirt roads so that we could go back 50 years. But there are dirt roads I have driven on while talking to you, but that road up of mine is awful. So meanwhile, back at the ranch, I was so tired, and I got up, got them off, went back and laid down until it's time for me to go over to now to go to rehab. And I still was sleeping so hard, and it is gray, and it's raining hard, and it's cold, and I noticed that there's a pattern starting to develop that I never had before. On days like this, it's I have this overwhelming need to sleep, and I mean, it's the best sleep I ever get. It is down deep sleep, and it feels so good. So I enjoy it, actually, but I've never, rain's never affected me like this before, to where it's just put me to sleep like a baby. So good or bad, that's what's happening now, and whether it's part of it or it's not part of it, it's a coincidence or not a coincidence, I welcome it, other than it's really hard to get up to do things. But that's some fine sleeping I'm doing, and I need it. Sure. After rehab, I have to go. I'm hoping the rain stops. It's just blowing, and if it was snow, it'd be a snowstorm. But I have to go to the grocery store. We are out of milk. We are out of a lot of things. And I have not been to the grocery store since the last time I vlogged about it, and that's been quite a while. And had no help. I'm not going to have help this week. I did go out with a friend for lunch yesterday. That was nice, and I enjoyed that. So I'm not sure how I'm going to handle the grocery part of it. I may do like I did the last time, just get it, put away the refrigerated stuff and the freezer stuff, and leave the stuff that can be put away later for the boys when they get home, and they can put the rest of it away, which is probably the route I'm going to go, because that'd be the best, really helpful one to go grocery shopping with, because their memories are not impeded where mine is, and they can remember if we need stuff where I don't. Or I'll try to keep buying, barbecue sauce, and one of them will say, we already have 5 bottles of barbecue sauce, we don't need any more barbecue sauce, for example. And then it's like, oh, okay, and I don't buy barbecue sauce, whereas if I was by myself, I'd be buying the barbecue sauce and not the ketchup that we're out of. So it is helpful when they go. But I really need to get some stuff, get it in the house, because of one, cover's getting bare. 2, it's getting cold and nasty out, leaving us off 3. The chances of the weather starting to get nasty are getting higher. Thanksgiving's coming up, but finally my Aldi's is open back up, so I don't have to go out of town. Yay. So my hope is go to rehab, go to the grocery store, get some groceries, and spring will stop so I don't get dripping, soaking wet trying to get groceries, and then go home, throw away what I can, and maybe take a nap because I'm enjoying this. But I do notice that the medicine that I'm on now, which is the Dementia, and everybody's different. Everybody's going to be treated differently. Different medications are going to work on different people different ways. But for me, there are some side effects, but they're doable. But what I've really noticed from it is that my attention span is longer. Before I went on the medication, I couldn't hold. My attention span was 5. Well, like watching something on TV, 5 minutes max. If I was in a conversation, I don't know how long you'd get. But now I can watch an entire half-hour program. I can usually complete a conversation, and so that's a lot better. To tell a story about before I was on the medication, and this was before I was diagnosed or anything. This was, a couple years back. After I started getting sick, and it was even before I was diagnosed mild cognitive impairment, but I was probably already showing signs, and I had gone to see my attorney, and I'd known him for years, and so I was always very comfortable with it. I'm always very comfortable with him, and so we were talking about some things that were going on, that things I needed taken care of. And at one point, I literally stood up from the table, and I walked over and got my coat off the coat hook in his office and started putting my coat on. And I said, "Oh, are we finished?" And he said, "Well, I guess we are now." And we weren't done. For some reason, I had reached my saturation point of where I was able to take in information, and I was done. And even though our meeting wasn't over, and even though what we had to discuss wasn't finished, I had just got up and put my coat on. I was going to leave. And it was the first time, and I think it was because it was a controlled situation where I was in a room, one-on-one, and it was important, and I was, with a professional, and I got up and left in the middle of a meeting, that it dawned on me that I wondered, and most likely I was doing that to other people. If I was going other places, and then just when I got finished, just walking away or stopping or leaving and in the middle of something, because that might have been really common for me to do, to start talking to somebody, and once I are even doing something, and once my space for any of the information was filled up, I would just go bye and leave. And I must have looked like something else. So, as I remember things like that, I think probably the symptoms have been around for a lot longer than the diagnosis. This is kind of a hoot. How I must have appeared to people. Just be talking, and then I just put my coat on and leave. Be done and leave them standing there. Sorry. People I did